Oh, but I'm right on. The version of me that existed 2 years ago, when I believe the ground I'm standing on today. I've watched you trade my grieving for a different glow. Not brighter, but more honest in its way. You didn't just restore me to the start. You built something the ruins couldn't hold. You didn't give me back my former heart. You gave me something more, something bold. Oh, something bold. I count the small things now that I once overlooked. The way the light falls different on the wall. The way your conversation doesn't need a hook. The way I'm less afraid to rise and fall. And every little mercy adds up to a life I didn't think I'd have the courage to receive. You didn't just restore me to the start. You built something the ruins couldn't hold. Didn't give me back my former heart. You gave me something more, something bold. Maybe restoration isn't going back. Maybe it's becoming someone new, carrying the lessons from the darkened track. They can find it out, they led me straight to you. I didn't lose myself, I shared the weight of who I thought I had to be. And what came after all of that was something close to free. And you didn't just restore me to the start. You built something the ruins couldn't hold. You gave me back my former heart. You gave me something more, something more, something more. I've been searching, I've been carrying names that weren't mine to wear. Labels from the ones who didn't know me well. I folded myself small enough to fit in somewhere, but small don't feel like living. Truth to tell, something in me rises when I hear you speak. Not the version they projected onto me. You see the person underneath the performance. You call me by a name I never heard before. Not what I've done or what I failed to be. Something more honest, something more. Ooh, 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 ooh. I spent so long becoming what the room required. Said yes when I meant no, smile when I hurt. But you have never asked me to be what you desire. You take me as I am, return me to the earth. You see the person underneath the performance. You call me by a name I've never heard before. Not what I've done or what I failed to be. Something more honest, something more. Ooh, 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 ooh. And ooh, 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 ooh. Why stop trying? Still the one you're running after. I don't have to earn this version. I don't have to build it out of fear. You've already named me, claimed me, told me why I'm standing here. You see the person underneath the performance. You call me by a name I've never heard before. Now what I've done or what I failed to be, something more honest, something more.
I've been in this room for longer than I planned, with questions that don't answer, and a timeline without land. I've tried the patience and the prayer and the surrender talk, and some days the surrendering is harder than the walk. I won't dress this up as though it doesn't cost me, but I also won't pretend that I've been wholly lost. See, I'm in the unresolved room, and you're in it too. Not at the door, not at a distance, actually here. Actually you, I don't have the answer, but I have the company in the unresolved room, and that is something. There's a quality of waiting that develops under pressure, that can't be manufactured or obtained by any other measure. I feel it happen in the end. I don't love the process, but I trust the one who's walking me across this. I'm in the unresolved room, and you're in it too. Not at the door, not at a distance, actually here. Actually you, I don't have the answer, but I have the company in the unresolved room, and that is something. So I'll sit with what I can't yet close or clearly name, and hold the faith that you are faithful in the frame. I'm not done, I'm not defeated, I'm just in between, and in between is somewhere not no way lost. See, I'm in the unresolved room, and you're in it too. Not at the door, not at a distance, actually here. Actually you, I don't have the answer, but I have the company in the unresolved room, and that is something.
The mirror has a lot of opinions about me lately, and not all of them are generous or kind. I've been fighting with the image pretty daily, trying to make peace with what I find. But there is a voice that speaks from somewhere deeper, that calls me something the mirror hasn't said it. You call me chosen, not for what I've done. You call me wanted, not for what I earn. You call me known, not just by anyone, but by the one whose love I'm starting to discern. I've been running from the hollow feeling quietly, filling up the space with noise and tasks. But even in the fullness I can feel it slightly, the question that I've been afraid to ask. You call me chosen, not for what I've done, not for what I've done. You call me wanted, not for what I earned. You call me known, not just by anyone, but by the one whose love I'm starting to discern. Let me put the performance down tonight. Let me stand here without the weight of right or wrong. Let me be the one who's learning what it's like to be fully seen and finally belong. Not as the version I've been building in the crowd, but the one you made before I ever spoke aloud. There were nights I counted by breath alone. I was not pretty, but I was kept. The hallway behind me still echoes. Now I live like I've been kept. Now I can laugh without checking the door. Thank you for not letting go. Thank you for the hand in the dark. Thank you for the mercy that didn't shine, kept in the hard light. I was kept in the hard light. I was kept in the hard light. I was kept in the hard light. There were nights I counted by breath alone. I was not pretty, but I was kept. I hold the scar without hating in it. I see how mercy wore plain clothes. Thank you for not letting go. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. I have a testimony now I didn't ask to have, paid for in the currency of everything that cracked. But there's a way to first-hand knowledge you can't simulate. I know what I know, but 'cause I walked inside that gate. And here's the proof in the survival. I'm still speaking, still standing in the space that looked like it would be my ceiling. Still drawing breath, still drawing close, still finding what is true. The proof in the survival is I made it through to you. I'm not advertising suffering, that's not what this is. I'm just accounting for the evidence, the way things are. There were nights that had no visible bottom, just descent, where every prayer felt like it disappeared the moment that it went. But looking back, the company was there in the dark, just harder to detect when falling is the only art. I think of every time I swore I couldn't carry on, and then I did, and here I am, and something's not gone. Something held me up that I cannot take credit for, and that something has a name, and that's what I'm here for. And here's the proof in the survival. I'm still speaking, still drawing breath, still drawing close, still finding what is true. The proof in the survival is I made it through to you.
Heard my own names hit the floor. I mistook applause for belonging. I learned the shape of borrowed pride. I carried a borrowed version of my life. I stopped borrowing a life that isn't mine. I breathe out the need to impress. You make me plain and still make me enough. You know the true line under my pulse. You let my real face be seen. Oh. I heard my own names hit the floor. I mistook applause for belonging. I learned the shape of borrowed pride. I carried a borrowed version of my life. I have heard the softer truth now. I am the breath you did not waste, held in the true name, known and not alone. I heard my own names hit the floor. I heard my own names hit the floor.
I think what moves me most about this relationship is not the cosmic scale of what it means. but the way it gets into the granular detail of the trip, the particular texture of my days and dreams. You know the specific things, not just the broad strokes, the precise and personal anatomy of what I carry. You know the Tuesday mornings when I don't have words. You know the silence between me and the ones I love. You know the things I replay that no one else has heard, and you're there in all of it, below, beside, above. This isn't distant wonder of a thing too large to touch. This is something closer and more intimate than that. This is the conversation I come back to very much when the world has asked too many questions, and that's that. And the management of doubt, but from the real relationship I'm in, where you are not a concept on a page, but the one who knows my name across every age. Who knows my name? Who always knew that name is mine? That love is true. There was a time I answered to whatever they invented, took the definition others handed and consented. Let my edges be determined by the shape the room afforded, and call that flexibility, and somewhere lost the chord. But this name, my name, was spoken over me in love. It comes from somewhere underneath and somewhere up above. It's not the one that changes in the shifting social tide. This name, my name, is rooted, it's the one I keep inside. Oh, I'm not trying to prove it to the ones who wanna challenge. I'm just holding it steady, that's the balance. The world will try to rename you whenever it's convenient, and I'm not always strong. I won't pretend I'm always lean. just try to slip into the place that only truth should occupy. This name, my name, the one you don't let die. But this name, my name, was spoken over me in love. It comes from somewhere underneath and somewhere up above. It's not the one that changes in the shifting social tide. This name, my name, is rooted, it's the one I keep inside.
I carried ash like it was ordinary dust. The ache had a seat at my table. I came out quiet and not empty. I hear the rescue inside the silence. I let the release sit next to loss. I hold the scar without hating it. I see how mercy wore plain clothes. Now I know the deep end was not the end. Now the afterglow is part of me. Now I live like I've been kept in the hard light. I was kept. I carried ash like it was ordinary dust. The ache had a seat at my table. I carried ash like it was ordinary dust. The ache had a seat at my table. Thank you for the breath I kept. Thank you for turning pain into witness.
You don't always come in the spectacular or the name. Sometimes you arrive in the texture of the ordinary day, in the light that hits the table at a specific afternoon angle, in the moment of the quiet that untangles what was tangled. You show up in the texture of the everyday and small, in the kindness of a stranger, in the middle of the hall, in the song that finds me unexpected and alone. You show up in the texture, that's how you come home. I'm paying closer attention than I used to. That's the change. The same world looks a little less the same. In the conversation that went deeper than it planned, in the moment that I offered and received a hand, in the unexpected pause where something cracked me open, in the barely visible, in the honestly just spoken. I wanna be someone who notices
texture of it, that's the plan. You show up in the texture of the everyday and small, in the kindness of a stranger, in the middle of the whole, in the song that finds me unexpected and alone. You show up in the texture, that's how you come home. These marks don't disappear, they just change over time. Evidence of everything that cost me and what's mine. I used to try to cover them with explanations long, until you said that scars were never something wrong. You touched the place I kept turned toward the wall, and asked me what I was so afraid to call. This is my scar tissue, and it's proof that I survived. This is the story written in the skin of staying alive. You read it back to me like something worth the read. My scar tissue, my testimony, not my defeat. I thought the healed version had to look like nothing happened here, but you showed me fully healed can still be marked and dear. That's the part the world won't tell you. Grace is not erasure, it's the presence that surrounds the pain with something spacious. So I'm not hiding this anymore, not tucking it away. Every line here has a story I can finally say. You were in the breaking, you were in the mend. The scar is not the ending, it's where you begin again. This is my scar tissue, and it's proof that I survived. This is the story written in the skin of staying alive. You read it back to me like something worth the read. My scar tissue, my testimony, not my defeat. The room still smells like rain on old wood. My hands were tired of holding the fall. Even silence noticed how one I became. So I stopped asking for a grand display. I breathe like someone learning trust again. You mend me in ways no crowd could name. You teach teaching my scars to stand without fear. You hold the line while I relearn peace. You make a new shape out of the break. You bring me back with a gentler kind of fire. The room still smells like rain on old wood. My hands were tired of holding the phone. Even silence noticed how worn I became. And if I am slower than the sunrise, stay. Let the old ache forget its name. You mend me in ways no crowd could name. You teach my scars to stand without fear. Still you make me whole. There's a frequency I keep returning to, regardless of the season. Not always with a clear occasion or an organized reason. Just an instinct in the morning or a settling in the evening, that draws me back to you as naturally as breathing. And the return is never wasted. It always finds me something. Sometimes loud and sometimes subtle, always something. This is the frequency I keep returning to. The channel underneath the channels, always coming through. I've tried the louder and the faster and the more, but this frequency is the one I keep coming back for. Years of this have built a groove in me, a kind of settled path, where the feet just know the way when the mind forgets the math. When I'm too tired or too scattered for the intentional, the groove itself carries me, the practice and the essential. This is the frequency I keep returning to. The channel underneath the channels, always coming through. I've tried the louder and the faster and the more, but this frequency is the one I keep coming back for. And I think this is what the deep thing looks like after time. Not the peak experience, but the habitual climb. The ordinary devotion of the life consistently lived. The frequency returned to, and the frequency gives. I spent a long time looking without really seeing me. The image and the reality were strangers, honestly. I dressed it up, I talked it down, I edited the frame, but the person in the mirror never felt the same. Then you held up a different kind of mirror, one that showed me something softer, something clearer. I saw a face that you had thought about before time, and slowly I began to recognize it as mine. I'm not talking about performance, I'm not talking about pride,
I'm talking about the quiet place that lives on the inside. The core of it, the seed of it, the part that perseveres. The thing you loved me for, I had accumulated years. You knew me in the making, before the making showed. And that original knowing, that's what I want to hold. And you held up a different kind of mirror, one that showed me something softer, something clearer. Saw a face that you had thought about before time. And slowly I began to recognize it as mine. This is mirror work, looking until I believe it. Letting your view of me be the lens I see it. Not vanity, not self-obsession. This is just the truth. I am worth looking at through eyes like yours, yeah.
Highlight your neck, highway. I let the mask rest by the door. I stopped translating every feeling. You are the quiet that never leaves. You are the reason the room feels like home. You are the ease I cannot fake. You are my near and my now. Home in a quiet room. You are my near and my now. Home in a quiet room. You make small things feel fully alive. The kettle hums softer when you are here. You make small things feel fully alive. The kettle hums softer when you are here. You are the quiet that never leaves. You are the reason the room feels like home. You make small things feel fully alive. The kettle hums softer when you are
I've been sifting through the damage like an archaeologist, looking for the artifact of who I used to be. Some days I find a piece of something and I hold it in my fist and wonder if it still belongs to me. But you don't ask me to excavate my past alone. You're here beside me in the rubble and the stone. You're making me a mosaic from the shattered things, pressing every broken piece into the design. What looked like waste to me has meaning in your hands, and what I lost is finding its own life. restoration. Man, I be the same face, same pace, same sense of who I was. But what you're doing doesn't fit inside that frame. It's something wider, something more. Because if you don't restore the building to its blueprint, you restore the person to their soul. You're making me a mosaic from the shattered things, pressing every broken piece into the design. What looked like waste to me has meaning in your hands, and what I lost is finding its own line. I thought restoration was a synonym for fine, for getting back to normal and forgetting the decline. But you've been showing me it's something in between, the hardest place I've been and what I've never seen. Not fine but free, not fixed but whole. You're making me a mosaic from the shattered things, pressing every broken piece into the design. What looked like waste to me has meaning in your hands, and what I lost is finding its own light. I let the noise fall off my shoulders. I learned the weight of being known. I unclenched the fist around approval. I trade the costume for my own skin. My name got small under louder voices. I kept asking what was left of me. Oh, you turn my empty space into belonging. You keep me rooted in the name you know. You say I am more than the angles I guard. No bottle that can hold me now.
Known and not alone.
I am not the shadow I used to chase.
Known and not alone.
Held in the true north.
Known and not alone.
No, no, no. Held in the true name.
Known and not alone.
No, 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 no.
Known and not alone.
Lord, held in the true name.
Known and not alone.
My name got small on the louder voices. Oh.
The faded photo in my hands shows smiles I thought were gone for good. You lift the color back to life with gentle strokes nobody could. You restore the joy I buried deep beneath the weight of heaven. their ears. Now laughter rises unrehearsed and washes every hidden tear. The empty chair beside me fills with presence warmer than the sun. No longer missing what was lost, because your healing has begun. You restore the joy I buried deep. You restore the joy I buried deep. You restore the joy
I let the moment be enough. I let the quiet do the talking. I trust the warmth more than the fear. Stay when the room is only us and the lamp. Let the hours remember this kind of peace. Let this nearness be enough. Home in a quiet room. Ooh, you are my near and my now. Home in a quiet room. Your nearness makes the edges less sharp. I know your steps by the way my chest slows. You sit like the silence dress you. Your nearness makes the edges less sharp. Your nearness makes the edges less sharp. Ooh, you are closer than the words I use. You are the soft place I return to. Makes the edges less sharp. I know your steps by the way my chest slows. Ooh. I used to skip past the part about being wonderfully made. It felt like a platitude, too easy, too prepaid. But I've been sitting with it longer, and it's starting to land. This is not a consolation, this is the plan. You were not careless when you got to me. Not tired, not half present, fully here and free. Oh, fearfully and fully, that's the way you made this thing. Every complexity and contradiction carry meaning. I am not an accident or an afterthought in line. Fearfully and fully, and the fully part is mine. I used to wish away the tendencies I'd fight, the ways I think too slowly but then suddenly too bright. What if all of that was in the plan and not the flaw? What if you knew exactly what you saw? Fearfully and fully, that's the way you made this thing. Every complexity and contradiction carried meaning. I am not an accident or an afterthought in line. Fearfully and fully, and the fully part is mine. Ooh. I wanna be a good steward of this specific life, not someone else's, not a copy, not the one beside. To honor you by being holy and completely me. That's the offering, that's the worship, that's the key.